Good morning, everybody. It's 352 Organics. Welcome to my very first YouTube video. Well, not first, but this will be my first walkthrough for you guys. I just started this channel because I wanted to go ahead and motivate people to go ahead and get started gardening. I just started getting into this about a year ago when I moved into my new house, and a friend of mine just dropped off a bunch of plants on myself. So kind of got forced into it in a way, but I started to grow a passion for it, and little by little I'm just going ahead and starting a collection. A quick disclaimer, I don't have too much going on. Like I said, I just started last year, but like I said, I started this channel just to motivate you guys to go ahead and get started, and so you guys could see that you can start from nothing as well. A couple channels that I want to shout out that helped me and motivated me to get started is Jabez Invest, Dan's Food Forest, Forever Food Forest, and Andre Baptiste, or Andre the Farmer. Now, for those of you wondering, I'm located in Central Florida, Marion County. This is Zone 9A. It does get as low as 20 degrees out here during the winter, so you have to be very careful with what you plant in the ground. So if you have some tropical plants, you might want to keep those in pots until they're established enough to go ahead and be able to handle the ground. So let's go ahead and take you guys into the walkthrough, and we'll go ahead and get started from there. So over here I believe it was a Cuban oregano, or some might call it the toilet paper plant. I'm not sure if it's completely dead or if it'll come back, so we're just gonna leave it in that pot for now. See what it does. This is a little money tree that I bought on Facebook, and it was in some really sandy soil, so I just left it in the pot and didn't want to risk bringing any ants inside. Over here, this is my herb section. Right here, as you can see, we have some spearmint over here growing. I planted this in the ground, I want to say maybe like 3 months ago, or a little longer than that, and it started spreading out like crazy. I like to put this in my smoothies, sometimes make teas out of it. Over here, I have some Greek or Italian oregano. I'm not sure, I don't really remember which one. Here I have some basil that I planted all of these herbs around all at the same time. Over here we have some Okinawa spinach that was gifted by a friend. These are one of my few plants that constantly I'm able to harvest, and I like to go ahead and like make a smoothie with them or add them into my eggs. It's like a little different than regular spinach. It's a lot more crispier, I guess, how I would describe it. Over here we have some Olympian figs. These two figs were in the same pot originally, and they birthed a small one, so I went ahead and I split them, and I don't think the little baby made it through, so if it does come back, it does, but hopefully we'll end up with some more. Over here we have a West Indian lantana. Now, if you're not familiar with lantana, they throw out like these really small clusters of really pretty flowers. I threw them in here just to attract some pollinators. This was a passion fruit vine that probably died back during the winter. It was a lot bigger. It was like halfway up the fence, but I ended up cutting it back. And one of the cuttings that I took from it is still alive, so once that's bigger, I'll just end up replacing it if that one doesn't come back. Over here we have a Mexicola avocado. Probably gonna do some pruning to this pretty soon. Over here we have apple tree rootstock. With these rootstocks, you always want to pinch these little suckers off, because these rootstocks, you got to think of it as, you know, starting a kid riding a bike on training wheels. You don't want it to get too ahead of itself. You really want to constantly prune these back so they could really focus on growing roots. Here I have a beauty berry that I brought out from the woods, and I added this just to attract pollinators as well as to repel pests. Beauty berries are known for repelling like mosquitoes and other things like that. If you guys aren't familiar with beautyberry, it's a Florida native plant that it throws these like kind of looks like a blackberry, but it's like very violet purple, very beautiful. Over here we have a pear tree rootstock. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and just pluck these little suckers off, all this new growth. We got some blueberries here. You can see it's already got some berries on it. Hopefully they'll be ready soon by next month. See if it'll focus on those berries. Over here we have a Mexican sunflower. These are really good to have in your gardener for all new gardeners because there are nitrogen fixers and they're really good for chop and drop to add some natural fertilizer to your garden. Over here I have a peach tree rootstock. As you can see, it's got some new growth over here, even though it's looking like a little twig. But again, we're gonna pluck those little suckers off so it can just focus on growing roots for now. Right here we have a loquat tree. This was a pup that one of my friends dug up from the ground and gifted to me. Another beautyberry. Right here we have some jack beans that I just threw the seeds in the ground and they just started popping up. We got like at least like, I want to say 5 or 6 in total. Over here we have cassava or yuca. If you guys are from the Caribbean or your parents are from the Caribbean, I know you're definitely familiar with this one. Another one of those jack beans. Those, just like the Mexican sunflower, are really good to have as a nitrogen fixer when you have really sandy soil. Right here we have, I believe it's a dwarf plantain that was gifted by a friend. It's just coming back after the winter, looking nice and healthy. Over here we have another jack bean. Hopefully that plantain will hold it up once it gets bigger. I have this pineapple here. It was a pineapple top from the grocery store that I just started growing last year, and I had it in a vase of water for a really long time, and I decided it was finally big enough and the weather was good enough to finally plant it outside, so I did just that. Over here I have was a moringa tree. I cut it all the way back down because it looked like it was dying back during the winter, but apparently I've watched videos and these come back like nothing. This is one of the cuttings that I stuck in the ground and it looks like it probably rooted because it's pretty stiff in there. This one is too, so hopefully it does come back. Here we have a variegated prickly pear cactus. As you can see, it has some pretty cool patterns on it. Now, I was told that this variegated variety does not fruit at all. Over here we have a Peruvian apple cactus that looks pretty stressed. I feel like it's gonna take some time adjusting to my soil. And this is the main Mexican sunflower plant that I had that was gifted to me, and from this I've just taken cuttings and spread it around my garden just to fix some nitrogen and make my soil better. So like I said earlier, you definitely want to, oh, look at these ladybugs. I don't know if you guys saw that one. I'll add a picture. Oh, there it goes. Oh, nope, just a fire ant. But yeah, I'll add a picture of how it looked when it bloomed last year. It was very beautiful. It grew up about 10 feet in the air before it flowered. And over here we have a Musa banana. This one I got at Home Depot. I was told that this one is cold hardy and it'll withstand those real low temperatures. And what I did with the bananas on a video, based on a video that I saw from Growing Homes, is I dug a big hole about a foot or 2 feet away from the banana, and I went about 3 feet deep, and I just started filling it up with a bunch of compost on my food scraps. I threw some leaves, and from there, we ended up getting a squash zucchini plant that just started growing. A couple potatoes that started growing. Not sure if they'll keep growing because it's starting to get about 90 degrees again, and I'm not sure if it'll withstand that heat. We have some jack beans that we planted around here. I can't find them. There's one still alive, and there's another one right here, still alive, tolerating that heat. Some more potatoes, and this is a dwarf Cavendish. I'm not sure if it's gonna make it. I cut it all the way back. It's still got some green on it. I don't know if you guys can see there. So it is alive. Hopefully it does come back. But yeah, there's some potatoes that just started growing in the compost. This one is one I'm really excited about. This is ice cream bean. So these ice cream beans are pretty rare. They're known to grow like in Central America, South America, and the tropics. And they produce this this bean pod that the inside has like kind of like a cotton candy like texture on the outside of the beans, and apparently it tastes like vanilla ice cream. So I'm really excited for this one because not only is it rare, but it's also going to be fixing my my soil because it's a nitrogen fixer. We're already getting close to the end over here. I started like a compost pile over here, and I threw some of the Mexican sunflower cuttings, and then we started getting some zucchini squash. I had to stop the video just because my phone got too hot, just so you guys have an idea of how hot it actually does get out here in Florida. So like I was saying, over here we got some zucchini squash that just started growing on accident from the compost, so we're just gonna leave that here. Another beauty berry that I brought from the woods. And one thing I love about my property is that I'm next to a lake, so I have like a bunch of like wild native things that just start growing, like this West Indian lantana that just started popping up over here, so I'll take that for free. I forgot what these native grapes are. I'm not sure if they're edible or not. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. But these grapevines just keep popping up, so instead of weed whacking them like I used to, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave them there and see what they do. And just like I was saying again, why I love this property so much, just because I have so many wild native things that pop up, like these blackberries over here. They just started popping up in my yard, so I'll just go ahead and take those for free again. And that's it for now, guys. I have a couple things in pots that I'll start showing you guys little by little once they start getting bigger. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, or if you guys have any tips or advice, feel free to leave that in the comment section. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Check out my TikTok, check out my Instagram, and definitely check out those channels that I mentioned. I'll add their names in the description. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Y'all have a blessed day.